first thing that you're going to do, of course, you're going to go into REIN. You're going to go into the MLS on the products. What I like to do is I like to pull up the tax record first to get the tax ID. But if it was on the market and you want to go with the listing, you can do that. I'm going to show you, just assume that this property was never on the market before. All right, so this listing that I'm going to put on the market is 307 Welling Street, Suffolk, Virginia. Right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this information. What I want is a tax ID number. That's the main thing that I want, right? This is assuming that you already know what you're going to put it on the market for based on the CMA. You got your ARV, right? So what I'm looking for is I want this tax ID number. So I want to copy that tax ID number. And then I'm going to go back here into products. I'm going to keep the Relist tab open. And then I'm going to go into Instanet. All right. So I'm going to be using both of these tabs simultaneously. I'm going to be going back and forth in between both of them, right? So I'm going to go to create transaction, and I'm going to name it the property address. All right. Type, this here is a residential listing. Data, I'm going to get it Relist. And then I'm going to go Suffolk City. Now I'm going to paste the ID number, and I'm the listing agent. Now I'm going to create, and it's going to pull some information from the tax record. All right, I'm going to put active here. Property type, this is a multifamily. All right. Now I'm going to go back into Relist. I'm going to get the legal description. All right. List price, how much are we going to put it on the market for? So all that I need right now, I have the street address, I have the year that it was built, I have the tax number, the legal description, and the list price. Okay. That's all that I need as far as step 1 of 5. Tomorrow's date as a list date, and then for expiration, I'm gonna just do 1 year. That's all I need for step 2. It's the list date and the expiration date. Now I am going to the contacts. All right, so I'm going to add an existing contact. It has me as a listing agent, has the listing brokerage information, seller's information. If there were more than one seller, of course, I would have to add that. So now I'm going to add forms. These are all the forms that must be associated with this listing. So I'm going listing. I'm going to just go down the list. I like to add the consumer disclosure information form to CDIF, but it needs to say seller. All right. Disclosure of information of lead-based paint because it was built prior to 1978. Your DPOR, your residential property disclosures acknowledgement, and just make sure you click on the one that says to be signed. All right, that's important. You gotta make sure you're using that one. And if it's a property built prior to 1978, you want to go ahead and add the protect your family from lead in your home pamphlet. You want to add your ACUs. And then because this is a multifamily, I had to add the residential multifamily data input. Okay, so I'm not doing the residential property data input. I'm doing the multifamily. And then I am going to my standard agent exclusive right to sell. And then I'm going to my standard listing agreement. And that is all the forms that I need to add. So now I have these forms added. I'm going to hit next. Okay. And now we have documents. Okay. So there's a document that we need to add, and that document is the affiliate business arrangement. All right, now I'm going to hit done. Okay. So I have all the forms that I need. I have the contacts. I have the document uploaded. So now I am going to forms, and I like to start from the bottom. I like to start with the standard listing agreement, then I work my way up to the documents. All right. Now I'm just coming down. Offer to purchase, seller authorizes listing firm to divulge to other agents if asked the existence of other offers. If you have any other offers, it's basically saying you give permission. Yes, the seller does authorize listing firm to use a super key or a REIN authorized key box. The property was built prior to 1978. It is not in a common interest community, so there is no condo docs or POA docs. The property is not served on an on-site septic system. So basically, I'm just going through and I'm saying, hey, this is what we have going on, right? So you're just going down and you're going to complete all of this. No building violations, no manufacturing methamphetamine. Now here, other provisions. Of course, this is going to be on your agency disclosure and it's going to be in your data input, but I just like to add this to the listing document as well. Use the markup tool, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use this markup tool and I'm going to add managing member or signing authority. If you're a seller, it's a corporation, you want to make sure you add this everywhere that the member of the company has to sign. Yeah, that's right. 2, 3, 4. Right, cool. All right, so now I'm going to save that. I'm going to the next form. All right, so I'll put 6%. You can put 30 days, 10 days, 20 days. This is up to you. From the information from Relist. Okay. We can know other approved lockbox. Now for my agent remarks, public remarks, I do those last. I like to use ChatGPT for that. All right. Now, this is the high school, the middle school, the elementary school. Once again, you go back to listing, right, to confirm Kings Fork and Elephant's Fork. So putting in, you want to definitely make sure this is right, non-negative 65. So this is a triplex, list type, standard agency ER, okay. Ownership, simple. It's not new construction. Now, you don't have to fill in all of the blocks, but you have to fill in every area that have an asterisk, right? So, and I'll show you at the end how you check to make sure. Now, for those of you that does not have listing input rights, you're not going to see this button right here, okay, where it says upload listing. You're not going to see that. But for those of you that have listing upload rights, you completed the class, you'll be able to see that, okay? All right, so back to this. All right, D4 statement. Then I have to put owner agent because I'm actually the owner of the property, so I put owner agent. Now, it has 3 units, so I have to complete this for each unit, right? Taxes, you want to go to Relist. And so let's see the tax amount, 784. All right, and that's all. You're going to put a whole bunch of stuff. Income statement, yes. Possession, settle. Okay, now, so let's just say, for instance, I took this off, right? And then I went to upload listing. It's going to let me know everything that must be completed. So right here, it says showing instructions as if required field, right? So I know that I have to come in and go back to showing instructions, and I have to complete that, which is right here. I want to put in contact destination, right? It's good to go. All right, so I can literally click upload listing, right? So once you click upload listing, it's going to give you the MLS number. All right, so what you want to do is you want to copy this, close this out, and you want to paste that. All right, and then you want to go ahead and save it again. Now that's done. Now I am going to my lead-based paint. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to just mark up, you know, what needs to be right here. I'll save that. And I'm going to go back, go to ACOOS. It's pretty much put it everywhere that signature is supposed to be. All right, I have that everywhere it needs to be. Save it. Now I'm going to go ahead and send for signatures. Now, what you would do representing your client is you want to download these forms and you want to send it to them to review it first. You don't want to just send it to them to sign it. So what I'm going to do is I want to add participants in transaction, and then I'm going to add the docs. So add docs, I'm adding all the forms. All right, and then I like to move my standard listing agreement and my standard agent exclusive right to the top. All right, and then you're basically just checking to make sure everywhere there should be a signature or an initial that is there. Okay. Now, if you notice, for some reason, the markup didn't, right here on your deport statement, the markup didn't save. Not sure what happened. So I'm gonna click text box. I'm gonna add it because it has to be there for REIN, like when it's a corporation, they want to see that. Okay. So it's not like, oh, no, you have to make sure it's there and put transparent background. So it's not in the way of anything. All right. But you got to make sure that's there. Now, for your lead-based paint, for most of you, your seller does not have, they may not be aware of it. Okay. So you want to go ahead and delete that first initial on A, and you're going to have them to initial that seller has no knowledge of lead-based paint and or lead-based paint hazards in the housing. And then you're going to remove the initial from B, the first one in B, because that's basically saying that the seller has provided the buyer with all available records, okay? But you're going to click on this one, seller has no reports or records pertaining to land-based payment. That is important because it's going to automatically have them to initial all of it, but make sure you remove the top from A and B, okay? And if you're representing your buyer, you want to make sure that your client is initialing B and B of both, 4 and 5, all right? And then for your ACUs, if they're not in a military air installation area, they don't have to initial. They only have to initial if they are. Affiliate business arrangement. So here, put an auto date, okay? Agent name, all right? Then you want a text box here, transparent, put it on 11. And then you just type in your license number, your full name, okay? And then go and paste that if it's a corporation. And then you are going as the agent to sign full name. And there you have it. Hit next. Signatures are going to go to email, all right, for you and your client to sign. And then after the signatures, you'll go back into Matrix, and I'll do another video to show you how to actually upload your listing to make it live and how to blue star your documents.